Coming up and down under EV Adventures, can you believe it's already 9 months with my Atto 3? Let's have a look at it. Welcome back to the channel, everyone, from wherever you're watching. I appreciate you joining me for this 9-month review of the Atto 3. Now, it's not quite 9 months, it's a couple of weeks early, and that's because I'm heading away in a couple of weeks' time. I have to go to Perth and then Canberra, so I'm getting in early. So let's get into it. So I'll give you a little bit of an introduction. So if you're new to the channel, here's a little bit of information for you. So I bought the car as a demo, and it had about 6,500 Ks on it. And one of the first things I did when I bought it was to buy some new tyres, which you can see here, the Michelin E-Primacy. So they cost me a little bit of money, but they're better than the ones which came with the car. And the other thing I did was I had a tow bar installed because I use the car mainly for work, although I do several long trips. If you've seen my channel, you'll know that. And I'll just give a shout out to the guys at Towlink in Wangara. In Perth, if you're after a tow bar, those guys will look after you. They were fantastic. Now, a big reason for owning an EV, if you've got a home solar system, is because you can practically run the car for very cheap or even nothing. So I've got around about a 6 kilowatt solar system, which I monitor with the Delta Solar app, and I always try to charge the car during the day when there's the most sun and energy being created. And it's just a no-brainer. If you've got a solar system, it makes a lot of sense to own an EV. And I can tell you, I certainly do not miss going to the petrol station to fill up. I think I've been once in the last 9 months, and that was to get a little bit of petrol for a lawnmower. Now, I'll just point out that I am lucky in that respect that I am able to charge my car during the day. I'm actually self-employed, and I am able to come home. I only work part-time in the morning. So realize not everyone who wants to own an EV, even if they do have solar, may be able to charge during the day, and that's where I hope battery technology will just get better and we'll be able to solve some of these issues. And one of the other things I did when I purchased the car was I also purchased a spare tyre. Now, as you'll see a little bit later, I'll mention it, you can actually fit a spare tyre to the Atto, even a full size one if you want to, although I've just got a space saver tyre. So that is, I think, a positive point for the BYD Atto. As you know, spare tyres are as rare as hen's teeth in new cars today. So now let's join me in real time as I go through some of the things about the Atto 3. So my car's a little bit dirty. I haven't cleaned it for a little while. That's because I've been super busy since I came back from my trip to Perth. But let's have a look at the exterior highlights, or things which I enjoy about the car. So I do love the badge on the side. I have mentioned that in previous episodes. And I do like the wheel covers too. I think they look pretty good. And also I'm a huge fan of the scales at the back, which I know some people don't like, but I think they look great. And in fact, the rear of the car in particular, I've always been a fan of since I've bought the car. So the shark fin antenna looks pretty good. And I will point out that I do think they've done a great job, BYD, on the paint work. So my car's been up and down some pretty dirty tracks, gravel tracks. It has water stains on it sometimes, and it always comes up really good when I clean it. So they've done a fantastic job, I think, with the paint work. I don't know what their secret is, what they've done, but much like the Mitsubishi that I owned before this, I think they've done a fantastic job there with the paint. It seems to be quite robust, so well done BYD on that. Okay, let's begin our review and have a look at the kilometres. So we're at 18,175, and as you know, I bought this as a demo with around about 6,500 kilometres. So I'll just do the maths and put that on the screen for you, how many kilometres I've done since I've had the car, and it's coming up to 9 months, like I said, so not quite, but I'm doing this episode a little bit earlier, as I mentioned in the intro. And also, as you saw in a previous episode, or may not have seen, this is the shade part of the sunroof, which was damaged when I tried to, and I'll just break here to quickly show you what happened with this shade cell. So I was trying to move it backwards, you know, to open it, and it sort of came out of its rails and tore a little bit. It is going to get fixed under warranty soon though. So I've had to put a temporary shade thing here just to keep the sun off until I can get it repaired. Now the good news is that's getting repaired next month when I go in to get my car the 20,000 kilometer service. So if we look at the interior, the highlights for me, I do enjoy that it does have a binnacle. So I think that's a plus over getting a Tesla, which, you know, you can get an aftermarket one, but generally speaking most people don't do it, and they have to do all the functions then through the tablet. But the interior styling, I'm definitely one of those who's a fan of the interior styling. I think it's something different. It's very bold, and well done. Kudos to BYD for doing that. And again, I will mention the lights, which you can't see very well during the day, but certainly at night time they look absolutely fantastic. So huge fan of what they've done there. And you know, the doors are nice and chunky and solid. It feels, the build quality is excellent. I have mentioned that too previously. Just those guitar strings, not really not really the ideal thing, I don't think. But generally speaking, I'm a huge fan of the interior. I really, really like it. So another highlight, like I mentioned, is the interior lights. So even during the day, they look pretty okay. This was filmed in my garage, and it was during the day. So even when it's sort of slightly dim, I think the lights show up very, very nicely. So you can imagine what they'll look like at night, which I'll show you later. So you can just see here the indicators. It looks really good. I'll show you some night shots later on so you can have a look. I'm a huge fan of the lights. I actually think a good selling point for BYD is actually the lighting. The rear light bar looks amazing. This is in my garage and this is now at night time, so you can see how fantastic it looks. Now it shows up beautifully, and I think it sets a nice mood and lends a bit of style to the car. You know, I think it sort of makes it look nice and refined. Now a great trick, or nice trick with the light, is you can actually change the colors on it, and that's just a matter of going into the tablet. You can see here's some different colors I filmed, and there you go, you can just change it on the tablet. So yeah, nice party trick, that one. And you can see the tread pattern there of these Michelin E-Primacies, which I think are really great tyres. Certainly much better than the Atlas ones which came with it. Now if you buy a 2024 Atto or onwards, you do actually get Continental tyres now as a stock tyre, which is certainly better than the Atlas ones which I got when I bought mine. However, if you are buying an Atto 3 second hand, just make sure you check out which tyres you've got, because you may need to change them if they haven't already been changed. So a little bit more of the interior. As you can see, I keep a lot of stuff here as it's used for work, so it's a little bit messy for me, but that doesn't bother me. You know, I've got seat covers and protection. And if you go back and look at my accessories vid, you can see some of the accessories I bought, including things like these covers for the handle which sort of match the color scheme. So yeah, interior, big fan. So the boot, just slightly on the small side, but 440 litres is, you know, it's a reasonably sized boot for this size SUV. You'd expect something of this size, so not brilliant, you know, if you do have to carry a lot of cargo, but also not the worst in the class. So yep, that's the boot. And one thing that is good about the boot is the fact that, like I said previously, you saw that you can actually have a spare tyre, and that's unusual for EVs, so there is room for that. So again, that's well done BYD. So hopefully that will be a sign of things to come with future EVs. We might see spare tyres being incorporated in more SUVs, I hope so. Now the Atto 3 doesn't come with a frunk, however you can see here the motor, there's plenty of room inside there, and there are aftermarket frunks that you can buy. Now I actually do have one. I took it out because I'm getting the car serviced soon, and I will do an episode on that coming up. If you're unfamiliar with the charging architecture of the BYD Atto 3, well, it's a 400 volt system. You can charge to a maximum of 7 kilowatts for the AC charging, which is what I'm doing here. AC charging from my home charging system, although I'm only charging it at around 3 kilowatts. You can also charge on the DC system up to 90 kilowatts, so that's on the fast chargers if you're doing a long trip. Alright, so we're coming to the end of our review now, so let's sum it all up. Alright, so let's look at the Atto 3 then as a package. Now, one of the things I can say that I do like about the car is the fact that it can tow, and also that it's got a little bit of off-road cred. So you can see the ground clearance there, 175 millimeters. It's no rock hopper, but it's useful when you're going down some dirt and gravel tracks. And if you follow my channel, you'll see some of the trips that I've done with the car. So it performs quite well. It wouldn't take much to make this car a much better vehicle in that regards. So it's a pretty compelling package, I think, for the price. There has been some price reductions in EVs lately, and I still think the Atto represents good value. It wouldn't surprise me if the price falls a little bit more. It's not a perfect car. I have a few issues with the car. They're mainly small issues. I'm not particularly a fan of the software and the updates, as you know from previous episodes. It would be nice if the boot was a tad bigger. The roofline was just a little bit higher. The ground clearance was a little bit more. But look, they're things that I can live with. I'm certainly still enjoying the car very much. In fact, it's one of the few cars where I can say it's one of those which I like more the longer I own it. So yeah, like I've said, I don't really have any intention to sell it anytime soon. But hey, you never know if a good offer comes up. But I do certainly still recommend the Atto 3 as a great first EV, or even, you know, if you want to have an SUV style EV, if you're coming out of a sedan or a hatchback, you know, this is a very versatile car. So I think all in all, it's an excellent car. So well done, BYD. I'm still very happy with the car. Alright, that about wraps it up. Thanks for sticking with us for this reasonably long review. I hope you got some useful information out of it. Give us a like and subscribe if you haven't already. And I've got plenty of stuff coming up. I can't wait to share. We've got some great episodes. So we'll see you very soon. So take care as always on the roads. Watch out for those potholes. And we'll see you soon. Bye for now.